Lowe's was founded in 1921, and they are the second largest home improvement company in the United States. And today, they have revenue of almost $87 billion. And getting a job there is really competitive, but it's about to be a lot less competitive for you, because in today's video, I'm going to give you actual interview questions you're going to get asked in your Lowe's interview and teach you from a recruiter's perspective exactly what you need to say to wow them, impress them, and ultimately get the job. Now, this is video one of a 4-part series, so at the very end of this video, make sure you watch to the end. I will actually tee up on the screen the second video, so you can seamlessly go through videos 1 through 4, and at the end of it, you should be prepared to absolutely destroy your interview and get the job. All right, with that being said, let's get started. Now, the first question is, if a customer came in and had a question about a DIY project and you did not know the answer, how would you respond? This is a really common question because you're going to get a variety of people coming into the store specifically asking you questions about different home improvement projects they are doing. So it's important to be able to field this and answer it the right way. Now, what you don't want to do is go, that would never happen. I'm very good. I know home improvement projects. I'm very familiar. That's not what they're looking for here. That may very well be the case, but they're looking for how someone might navigate this situation if it was the case. So the answer needs to include a few things. You need to tell them that if you did that, that you would ask questions to make sure you didn't understand, or you didn't know the answer, but fully grasp what it is they were looking for. And then you would personally take them to somebody who would be able to help them address their issue. Once you did that, you would make sure that their issue was resolved and they were able to find a thing. Then you would politely say, oh, I'm glad you were able to find it, and go away, basically like that. But you basically need to walk them through exactly what you would do to resolve the issue. And you need to make sure that when you are telling the story that you seem okay with it and you're more concerned with resolving the customer's issue than your own knowledge. So an answer might sound something like this. Well, that's a really good question, and I imagine that's probably something that happens from time to time. What I would personally do is ask questions just to make sure I understood exactly what it is they were looking for and to make sure I was not familiar with whatever it is they needed in the store. I would then bring them to another associate of mine who I happen to know was familiar with that issue and make sure that they were able to resolve it for the customer and help them identify what they need so they could leave the store happy. Once I brought them to that person and they were able to resolve their issue, then I would thank them for coming in, and then I would let them the other associate finish helping them. And that's how I would handle it. And there you go. That's a great answer. It's reasonable. It's making sure that you're seeing through the customer's issue and that they were able to be helped. If you answer it like that, you'll do great. The next question is, when you have to do repetitive tasks, how do you stay motivated? This is a really important question because the likelihood of you doing a task over and over and over again as a Lowe's employee is pretty high. So they need to make sure that you're able to do that and you won't become disinterested or quit or not do a good job. So what you want to do here is a few things. You want to, 1, let them know that you are okay with that. That is something you are highly comfortable with and you're able to do the same task over and over again. And 2, ideally, if in the past you had done or you had a role in which you had to do repetitive tasks, you might want to share that in the past you've done that and you were perfectly fine with it. Now, an answer might sound something like this. That's a really good question. And I would say for me, I don't mind doing the same task over and over again. And I kind of take pride in developing proficiencies and efficiency in doing my task. In fact, in previous roles, I often had the same task that I would perform pretty consistently over and over again. And for me, it was always just a challenge to continue to get better at these tasks. But I'm not the type of person who get bored of doing the same thing over and over again. I take pride in my work. There you go. Something like that is a great way to answer this question. This next question is, if a customer needs a part, but they are not sure what it's called, how do you help them identify it? This is a great question. And basically what it comes down to here is as an employee of Lowe's, you are now on a fact-finding mission. You are going to be asking them questions until you can come up with it, right? What are you, what is this project for? What is the component's function? Where is it used? You're going to be asking questions and digging deeper to uncover exactly what it is. So that's the most important thing, that you demonstrate that you would have the patience for this. You wouldn't be frustrated. You would ask questions until you were able to identify it. So the answer might sound something like this. That's a really good question. And I think that's something that probably happens from time to time. These people are coming in and most of the time they're going to need help. So for me, I think I'd find some enjoyment in that and helping them identify what they're looking for. And I think it just comes down to questions, asking them what the project is, what is involved within their house, What is the specific mechanism? What is it responsible for? And just by digging in and asking more questions, I'd be able to identify it. And then I'd be able to help them, bring them over to it, show it, and then confirm that's exactly what they're looking for and that they were satisfied. And that's how I would handle that situation. There you go. That's a great way to do it. If you answer it like that, they're going to be thrilled. The next question is, what is your definition of great customer service? And this is a pretty classic interview question. It is one of those questions that's going to be asked a lot if you're in a customer-facing role. And I think when you're answering this question, it's important to do a handful of things. It's important to let them know that you consider it to be incredibly important. You take a lot of pride in helping the customer. And at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is make sure that whatever they're hoping to get out of the experience coming into the store, you're able to meet that expectation and exceed it, right? You're trying to give them a great experience. So you're going to serve them in a great way. You're going to make sure they find what they need and they had a great experience doing it. Now, you can say that however you want, but it's important to demonstrate enthusiasm here. You know, they're looking for people who are going to be engaging and engage with their customers who come in. And if you're not engaging in an interview, it might be hard to believe that you can do that as an associate. So the answer might sound something like this. You know, this is a great question, and I have been on many customer service roles in the past where I'm interfacing with customers and helping them with things. And I think for me, I'm always trying to identify exactly what it is they're looking for out of the experience and exceed that. And that means being friendly. That means being helpful and making sure whatever it is they were looking for, whatever it is that they were trying to find and ultimately buy, you're able to assist them in identifying that, ask questions, learn about what they're looking for, and make sure they make a great purchase. So it's all about exceeding their expectations. It's all about being friendly and being helpful so that they ultimately got what they came in for. That's a great way to answer it. You might have your own spin, but make sure it's positive. And make sure you're really putting the customer first in your answer. Tell me about your DIY and home improvement experience. So this is basically just telling them what your experience is. They're looking for someone who's probably a little bit handy, has some experience doing DIY, and can speak to some of the things their customers are going to ask for from experience. Now, I don't know how to build or fix anything, so I'm not going to be able to answer this question for you, but I can tell you what you need to do. Make sure your answer is anywhere from 45 to 90 seconds. You don't want to go on for 5 minutes, and you don't want it to be incredibly brief. But you do want to list, at my house, I've been able to fix a handful of things. I actually have a passion around building things, fixing things, and I'm the type of person who really wants to figure things out. When something breaks at my house, my first thing is to try to figure out exactly how to fix it. If I don't know how to fix it, I'll look it up on YouTube, and then I work to fix it myself. It's something that I take a lot of pride in, and I enjoy doing. Specifically, I've done A, B, and C. And then maybe you can list a few things you've built or fixed around the house, and that's going to get the job done. I cannot do any of that, though. The next question is a great one. Which of your traits will help you excel at this job? This should be in the job description, right? You look at the job description, they're going to list the things. That's what your traits need to be, right? If you were applying for an accountant role and you said your expertise was at sprinting, that does not help you. That does not make you a better accountant. That makes you a fast accountant, but it doesn't make you a better accountant. So whenever I give advice on how to answer this question, it just needs to be oriented with what matters to the job. What is going to make you fantastic? So if you're in the store and you're going to be customer facing, it should be, I would say my traits are, I am very friendly, engaging, and I have a vast knowledge of DIY and home improvement. There you go, right? Those are things that would help you. So just make sure it's something in line with the specific role you are applying and interviewing for. The next question is another absolute classic. How do you deal with an angry customer? When you're answering this question, it's just really important to let them know that you understand they're not mad at you, they're mad at the situation. And to make sure that the customer feels heard, listen to them, understand what's going on, and then help resolve the issue if at all possible. You want to do whatever you can to make sure they leave happy. That's your job. As someone who is working in a store, an angry customer comes in, your job is to convert them from an angry person to a happy, satisfied person, right? That's A to B. So answering this question might sound something like this. That's a really good question, and that's something that is going to happen from time to time in any sort of customer-facing role, and I've dealt with it in the past. And what I always try to do is, one, go into it with the mindset that I know they're not mad at me, they're mad at the situation. So I don't take anything personally. Two, I always try to make sure they feel heard, that I'm understanding their issue, I'm asking questions, I care about it. It matters to me that they have been inconvenienced or they're unhappy. Once I'm able to understand what it is that's gone wrong, then I work to fix it. And I do whatever I can. If I'm able to do it, if I'm not, bring in a manager, but I'm working hard to address their issue and make sure that we can resolve it, and ultimately they leave satisfied. And that's my approach to dealing with an angry customer. That's a hard question, but if you answer it like that, you're gonna nail it. Another really hard question they're going to ask is they're gonna ask a set of different behavioral interview questions. Behavioral interview questions are incredibly common, and they're some of the more difficult questions you might have to answer as a candidate. So I made this video here. This video here is specific Lowe's behavioral interview questions and answers, again, answered from a recruiter's perspective. So I'm done here, but I'll see you over there.